Nice.
What's the beat up banter? What's going through the brain currently?
A lot of things, man.
Rapid fire.
Memory lane.
Memory lane. What's your favorite memory ever?
My favorite memory
Ever?
That is so heavy. It's unanswerable, dude.
Welcome to the Side Stoke. What is one of the most valuable pieces of information you've ever been gifted to you in life that changed your life forever? Actually, I was there.
God, rapid
I was there.
fire.
I was there for that one. That was in your living room.
Changed my life.
Ease Mikey
forever.
D showed us. It happened to be a película.
Oh, when he showed us the secret, probably.
Yeah, dude. Everything since we've just been manifesting.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you. Probably one of the coolest moments ever was in Peru. Actually, I went to Machu Picchu. My wife is from Peru, and we were hanging out, and we're leaning on a wall, and against the wall in this little nook was this little tetrahedron crystal. So we found a tetrahedron crystal, which is, if you ever follow anything spiritually based, it's like a shape that connects all things. And
Yeah, everything has a tetrahedron.
yeah, and literally since finding that piece, like it's just been, my life has changed completely for the better. Just evolved like in ways it's impossible to even describe. And I know it was meant to be because I spent the rest of the trip at Machu Picchu trying to find any little trinket, and there was nothing. So just the odds of leaning up against the wall and it just being sort of semi-buried. This little glass tetrahedron. I still have it. Actually, it sits in the hands of like this little Buddha statue at our house. So rad, man.
That's
so random.
Crazy.
Of all places to find it. So I mean, it had to have been good luck because it could have belonged to somebody. They put it there with maybe their own little wish or something, but I don't know.
I don't know. Did you wake up at Machu Picchu? Did you teleport there?
I mean, I don't even remember being there. That's how insane.
Unless you won a free trip there and someone gave you the plane tickets for free, that shit was not luck.
No,
You
it
have
was
to
a
hike and a hoof, and you gotta
journey.
have a wife who gets you to go. That's
Crazy.
You bring that L word
Yeah.
away from the boys over here.
Definitely not luck.
That's epic. I
But
can't
yeah,
believe
man.
you randomly came up with the answer to that one right there. We were doing a little recap on the old school JP cabin days earlier.
Yeah, JP.
That was sick.
Such a vibe, man. That place is insane. The tree runs there, dude, just absolutely life changing. Once you go there, it's kind of sets the tone, and it's hard to match it. Like when it comes to East Coast, that's the cream of the crop right there.
They're over 300 inches, I believe, already base this year.
Not surprised.
I just regurgitate random claims because I like a nice claim, but somebody was claiming deepest in the U.S. right now.
I mean,
they have the most snowfall.
I just found out that the Great Wall is 13,000 miles long. So.
Could have told you that. D-Dub, what's your side stoke level currently?
Peaking.
Peaking. I think I'm running out of juice right now, to be honest. Stoke levels are still peaking, but body levels.
I'm gonna sleep here.
You got, how far was the drive? We're at Rhode Island right now. How far did you drive tonight?
1 hour.
And we got probably 2 hours in. But if you're doing tow rope, what's the tow rope equation for 1 hour? How many minutes equal 1 hour of regular riding?
We've been riding for 6.5 hours.
One tow rope lap is like 4 to 8 minutes of riding.
At least.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a vibe, dude.
Definitely.
I could so get used to just building our own features, having a small little hill, not too many crazy people and crowds and everything, and passes and epic, and I just roll up to the frickin' resort, build your own features, hit the tow rope, couple friendly laps.
Get a quick arm pump in.
Yeah, it's the wakeboarding
Yeah.
back tighten.
I only dislocated my shoulder like 5 or 6 times.
Dude, I ate it backside over it. Thankfully, no one's on, and the rope's just running under you. You're just praying it doesn't grab anything, bro.
I won't be able to pick anything up with my bare hands, but that's cool. It's fine.
Is this your first tow rope experience?
Behind the back. Yeah, I forget where I rode where I was grabbing it.
Was that Hood? Did you ever do a Hood one?
Yeah, it might have been Hood actually
Coaching.
in the pipe section back in the
up
day.
Daly's first time in the Midwest was so overwhelming, dude.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because he tries to just have as much fun as possible, and he gets lollygagged and with the birds chirping around him, and he's saying hi, so he doesn't he can't hold the GoPro and realize that there's 8 people all trying to get on the rope, and you need your speed and your momentum and hold the heel edge and grab the rope, and as you're on the rope there's like 2 or 3 kids going in front of you and grabbing it, so that every time they like scoop around and sneak into a little pocket, the whole rope shakes and it pushes you, and he's going backside and filming and trying to talk and hang out. He's on the phone and shit, and it was just He's trying to give out stickers, all this shit, all at the same time. It's like, bro, he had like an awakening, dude. He went down to the bottom. He's like, I'm gonna grab the long lens and just hang out down here, dude. This is just too much for me. I literally can't hang.
That's so funny.
But then he came back the next year and it was proper.
Yeah,
He was like, all right, I know what I'm getting myself into.
for sure.
I feel like we got similar East Coast vibes as the Midwest does, where it's just, you're so grateful to just be riding because it's always brick.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a struggle. So
Some of the lips that you took off on tonight,
Yeah.
just washing out, but
Yeah.
then catching yourself at the top of the lip,
Yep.
just enough to just, and then you still somehow throw a steezy back one.
100%.
How's that possible?
It's falling with grace, dude. That's I learned it a long time ago.
Is there any other way to learn it rather than just riding ice all the time growing up?
No.
That's it, huh?
No, you gotta just hit it head on, man. Straight up.
There we have it.
I've been working on, back threes, and I noticed like you, Jack, Daly, when you guys hit like a three, front side, back side, off of a side hit, you're almost like stalling it or floating it for a second and then like turning it back around. What is the technique to that?
First of all, that is what I like to call insurance. If you get the upper body done with the trick first, I mean, which one do you want to hear? So I give a perfect example
Like
of
a
that.
back three.
So like a back three. If your edge stays locked in when you go off the feature straight, that allows you to keep your legs and your basically up to your lower body also facing straight. But to do the trick, you subtly have that edge locked in. You can throw your upper body and your shoulders almost 270 before you're even off the jump. So then once your board goes off the jump, still straight, it snaps in your lower body by using your core. You can tell because you're looking at the landing already with your upper body. If you have a lot of time, you can just let that thing float. We like to call that a KOG back three, arms out if you want, just big body style, all the way until you land if you overshoot, for example. But if it's a small side hit, you do the same takeoff, pop, turn, snap. You see that the landing is right there. You can pull that 270 around real quick to 360 and stomp the trick. So when you have that upper body in front, it's what I like to consider insurance, because you can pull it around still. But if you throw your whole body at the same time, then you're just spinning until you land, which is hard to stop the momentum and also hard to perfectly land yourself in a 360 degree straight zero angle, which is how all the pros, when doing 2160s, I was saying to Jack the other day, we have almost a 270 each way easily. So putting that together, that's a 540. So if you're landing backwards, these guys are spinning 2160s and they're about to land, but they're at an off axis and they're gonna catch their heel edge. They just use their core to turn their feet to land 0 degree down the hill, so that can at least land like with no friction against the grain of the mountain. They land, they absorb the impact, and then they wash out and they keep their edge up. So that applies with getting the trick around too quick or floating it either way. It's our core and our body, and we have to know the ability that we have to dislocate our upper and lower body, and that is just the way that you can do crazy tricks and try new stuff and get away with it, like Zeb. Perfect example. He could probably do a 540 each way, front side and back side with his body. He can just twist so much that anytime you see him get into a sketchy situation, it turns into a 540 McTwist, and he sees the ground and can pull the legs around, land it right away. It's like every snowboarder's dreams to be able to have that much air awareness.
So you're kind of starting with your upper body. Like, would you? Because I've been working on it, right? And like a back three, I noticed, like, I'll kind of try what you're saying, like throw the shoulders first.
Yep.
So that way, by the time you come off the lip, you're pretty much already there. And all
With
you
your
gotta do
upper
is, like,
body.
with your upper body. But then I also noticed like tucking your head a little bit and looking at the landing before you even fucking take off, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So if you tuck the head at all, for me, I'm regular, so I'd be spinning right backside. If you tuck your right ear towards your right shoulder, you're gonna start going cork, and it's gonna go back seat a little bit. And that rotation, mathematically, it doesn't make sense until 540 when you come back around through that cork and you land 5. So that's why you see most cork 5s, or most 540s backside, have a nice little cork to them, because that's natural.
Right.
But if you do that cork, if you don't have your hand there to like Miller flip or something, then it doesn't really make sense. And that's why the sickest back threes are the ones that are somehow Timmy Sullivan corked or Red Gerard corked back three, where you're just like, that doesn't do that. That doesn't, when you do that, that doesn't happen. How did you have that happen when you did it?
It like looks intentional.
And that's all just air awareness and slight little core muscles being able to pull it back and just, you know, being riding forever. I don't know. Jack's got a good frontside one.
I just learned something new today.
That today. What are some ways that you lock in when you're trying to learn new tricks on the hill, on the chairlift in between runs? What are some things you do, or do you not do anything?
I don't really do anything. I just stoke with the boys and try to bring energy up. I think as long as we get like Gurty, we just get them laughing.
All right.
Get the stoke levels up.
Daly's basically for the people. As long as everybody else is having a great time with his assistance, your day's complete.
If I can make everyone's day a little bit better,
Woo!
then they make my day better.
Imagine if everybody did that.
That's all we need to do.
That would be crazy.
World stoke.
What do you think's the biggest jump you've ever hit? Snowboard jump.
North Star.
In feet.
Ooh, maybe 65? 70?
Really? You were hitting 65, 70 foot
I mean,
booters?
North Star had those.
Yeah. The
massive-
2-pack. The famous 2-pack.
Torstein
Yep.
2-pack.
Andreas.
Yeah, the second one.
Ooh.
It was just straight air.
They kind of rebuilt those the other year. Well, I don't think it was a 70 though. They had a solid 1-2 though.
It was one of the funnest parks of all time. The top to bottom North Star, I mean, you could see it.
Yeah.
I was like riding around when Torstein did that too.
Were you?
See, I remember riding behind Andreas Wig and I followed him through the whole thing and it was the nastiest thing I've ever witnessed in my life.
That was a Mecca era going down.
Oh.
I was in Connecticut on the East Coast in Vermont, just like the thought of North Star, bro,
Gives me goosebumps.
gives me goosebumps. And then when I actually did go and visit, my first thought was like, yo, this is an entire like city. It's a complex, dude. By the time you park and take a bus to get to the bottom, you got to take a gondola to get to the base of the riding and then take the chairlift up. I'm like, where is this place?
That was peak snowboarding right there for me.
But once you're up there, that was
They had
probably the best
staircase, that massive staircase they built with the freaking box and the rail.
best parks in existence,
I got
top to
270
bottom.
on,
2 miles.
270 off.
2 miles of park riding from 30, 40
Into
different
a
features.
Super pipe. 2 miles of park into a super pipe.
Yeah, that was out of control. Was it a super pipe or is it a
I mean, it was a piper.
kind of just a nice half
It
pipe?
was just a perfect pipe.
Definitely not a super pipe. I think that's what made it so sick,
Oh,
because we could actually hit it.
It
It
felt
when you're riding a regular mini pipe, you feel like it's a super pipe.
100%.
That was, whew.
But locking in, it's the stoke levels, man. Just right there. Honestly, it helps when a homie's filming because you feel like more like you have to.
Okay, so to convert
like-
that to the chairlift though, then you would say recapping the foot
Recapping the footage.
to stay locked in.
Well, yeah, and you can see it. And I think it's the height from the boys, like the back and forth.
Crucial.
If somebody's doing it in front of you, you're going to be more locked in.
Yeah. Well, the
If you're by
original question
yourself,
was
you're
how
gonna-
do you stay hyped and locked in on the chairlift in between runs?
Oh, staying hyped and locked in on the chairlift?
Yeah, because you were dozing off there. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
guess
a
those
few
are some good
business
answers.
calls,
You
dude.
got some good answers there. How do you stay locked in and focused on learning new tricks when you're lapping the park?
Oh, locked in and focused. Yeah, that's all on the stoke level. Just like get real loose, then following you,
There it is.
with you filming and seeing it, then boom, then when you get me, it's just like double on.
Riding with a homie and somebody who's like just as good or a little better or a touch worse, and you
Yes.
guys bounce off each other.
The progression gets higher, the higher level progressive riders you're with.
Yes, that's what
Like
me
when
and
you
Jack have
guys-
been doing recently.
In Japan, when you met up with homie in the purple jacket, it was the craziest thing.
Shout out
Everyone
Gladys.
got 5% better.
Yes, we had 0 energy and we still were getting better. Yeah, you find somebody that you can freaking lock in with, bro. Somebody who pushes you, who even if on your like mid days you're like, I don't really feel like doing a backflip on that rail or try and switch run boards, and you see them go for it, you're like, bro, I'm immediately backflipping that rail or switch run boarding. You're like, if Tommy's got it, I'm doing it. I ain't gonna let the boys just learn front flips without me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a critical one. What is your biggest tip for any snowboarder of any level? And it can't be just have fun with it.
It can't be about stoke.
Nope.
S-turns and learning how everyone needs to just enjoy a nice heel, toe, rocking, connecting, hand drag.
Okay.
You know, something about that with snowboarding is my favorite part about snowboarding.
Well, this
The
isn't.
tip on it?
Yes, this isn't a feel
Tip.
good doing it. This is a most critical tip for every snowboarder. What do we got?
Connecting your freaking heels into toes solidly and fluently through the mountain by rocking on your heels and shifting to the toes. I don't even know how to explain how to do it though.
I think what you're trying to say is put the work in to learn how to do toe and heel turns and S turns and all that before trying to go too far.
Exactly.
Make sure you get the basics, the most fun and fundamental part of snowboarding dialed.
Yes. Understanding the basics, you can go truly be stoked out there.
You get the S turns dialed, everything's easy after that.
If you could go anywhere to snowboard right now, where would you go?
I've been claiming China, dude, the world's biggest indoor, but maybe we shouldn't think of that just because we only be doing indoor mid-season. People aren't too stoked on that. So currently, right now, snowboard location that your boy wants to go to, it's just somewhere with a lot of jumps in a row that are nice and mellow. A little bit of pop, but not too abrupt. That's all we're looking for. We're looking to get the jump game back going. It's been a long time. I feel like in the 2000 and like, after Super Park, honestly, went away, is when I feel like jumps started going away, which was also around the same time that Epic and Icon started buying up all the resorts and then defunding the terrain park programs. So I don't know if there's a collab between either two of those, but the correct answer is I'm just trying to find some booters. And the sad truth is that they're not really around here too much. They're hard to come by. Where's the old school Mount Hood 2011 11 jump line vibe? I'm looking for 11 booters in a row.
The North Star Park.
I want to get confused, thinking I'm on 7, but I'm on 4, and I got 5 more tricks to do, and I already spun a bunch of ways. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Iced coffee or hot coffee?
Ooh, it depends on the temp. Overall, hot coffee, because usually it's early, and regardless, it's a nice warm cup. But espresso style, pour it on ice with some freaking grass-fed milk, a little bit of creamer, maybe a little Element chocolate, caramel, depending on the stoke levels.
5-foot Dreamer waves in El Salvador with your boys, or perfect Bluebird day, snowmobile pow day in Alaska with the boys?
The snowmobile Alaska with the boys powder Bluebird day is so much rarer and harder to come by. I feel like El Sal has 5-foot waves pretty often, and we can go and score those anytime.
That's a good answer.
That was the correct answer for the you'll love to hear it.
Can you surf snow?
Can you snowboard on water is what you meant to ask me. Because recently the homie dropped a video of him getting not towed in, not step off, but it looked like he was on a stand-up paddleboard somehow, and maybe somebody pushed him in. We need more takeoff footage for that video. And then homie got slotted out of control. But the thing is, I also saw some comments that were saying it was on a specific snowboard that was actually for surfing that he just put straps on, so it was still kind of a surfboard, because when he jumped off right off the rip, he wasn't going that fast, and it felt like 90% of snowboards would have sunk in the water, but he cruised, so it was like floating. It had a lot of volume. So we need some more breakdown on that. Was it legit? We don't know yet. We don't have the facts. But the question still remains is, can you literally get like towed in on a surfboard, keeping that nose up with edges and camber and whatever, and actually even just surfing an open face wave would be crazy. I feel like it would have to be a fast wave.
See, it'd be fast.
You might be sinking, but that is that's on the.
Love to hear it. Pocket check.
Oh, pocket check stickers are available.
Pocket check.
We should get the pocketcheck.com domain. Jamaal, what's your new circumference with the cold water? I'm gonna start doing that too. I'm gonna start throwing out words that potentially might be a thing.
Yeah, I don't see how that one could be a thing, but I'm sure we could find a way.
Yeah.
But the last time that I saw you, I was telling you I watched a YouTube video about Spartans only bathed in cold water, and they said bathing in warm water was for cowards.
Since they're allowed warm water up until...
I don't even know if it specifies that, because you're a little kid.
You told me this.
Yeah, it's pretty much until...
You told me you were pretty specific about like an 11th birthday.
Nah, it's when they leave, so they go in like different categories. Like they're children, like young children, they just stay with their mom. And then when they reach like 6, 7, 8 years old, they're basically sent away to like a school to learn how to be a man. And then during that school, they hit like adolescent, and it's like young men. That's when they learn how to fight and learn how to do all these things. And from then on, they have to bathe only in cold water in this like certain river that they used a lot. Yep. But they just said that bathing in warm water was for cowards.
Okay.
And I thought it was hilarious because as soon as I watched it, I was like,
it makes sense.
Am I only going to shower in cold water now? I tell it to Casey, And then right away, I like see his eye kind of twitch, and I was like, "You're thinking about only showering in cold water." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, I haven't stopped thinking about that since I saw it.
How badass would that be to be like, oh yeah, I haven't had warm water touch my body out of a shower in 6 years, 8 years or something.
And that's the thing, like.
The only thing that I would say is that like onsens in Japan are good for you, but like taking a warm shower after like a hard day is just.
Or we even talked about the last time I saw you that
softens you up.
The hot tubs were tough for you because they're so chlorinated.
Ugh, dude.
It's so
I
rough.
don't get the adverse effects from hot tubs that I do when I do an onsen in Japan, or if I just do like
fed from a hot spring.
Yeah, and it's like loaded with minerals and it's just rich and
different story.
Yeah,
I think
completely
they
different
have
story.
hot tubs you could buy like for your home to set it up like that with like fresh water and.
Well, if it's yours too, you could just stay on cleaning it. But the
Yeah.
chlorine thing comes from them just wanting to let that water sit for however long, and then probably legalities of a hotel.
That's tough.
You got kids.
Because you feel that chlorine feeling, like that slime over you.
Bro, and where you're sitting, when you're sitting in it, you're just. I wouldn't even put my face down to a hot tub and sit 8 inches above it for 10 minutes.
Because chlorine gas is without a doubt a toxic gas. I don't know about the difference when it's a liquid form because obviously they use it for cleaning pools and stuff, so it can't be 100% toxic. Everybody be dead that's been in the pool.
Yeah,
but
and there's
chlorine
parts
gas
per...
is a toxic gas, right? Somehow, if it's the same element that you're using, that's got to be somewhat adverse for you to just sit your body, your lymph nodes, all of your like your armpits, 100%. All of the places that you absorb things, just sit all that in chlorine.
That's been my claim for anything that like kills you up to a certain point or is really bad for you up to a certain point. Like there is the minute ways of like, okay, well, even water, is bad for you at a certain point. But like the things that are really, that you don't get any positive benefits from that then end up being really bad for you, on the way to being bad for you, they're partially bad for you. So when the FDA is claiming that like, oh, arsenic is fine or lead and all that type of stuff up to the certain amount, it's like, well, up to that certain amount, you're just getting your performance sapped more and more and more. And you're needing more sleep along the way, and you're aging more and more.
And that makes you think like if you take care of like, and this is what been trying to work on because like I have a family, I'm a pretty busy guy with work and stuff, and I think everybody is, especially once you have a family. There's a lot to do, right? But everybody has a lot to do. I try to just like focus on what are the main tenets of what's going to make me healthy. You know what I mean? Like my majority of my diet, what is that? How much am I sleeping?
The free stuff.
And like, I'm trying to work on a lot of it right now. Like I do not get enough sleep. And like, you've heard multiple people say like, you could cold plunge, sauna, roll your body out, do all those things till the cows come home. But if you're not sleeping, you're not healing.
Yep. And that kind of leads into, you can get a better 6 hours if you do some things than you can 8 hours. Like, dude,
I don't think I can do 8. Like that's what I keep trying to manage. And I'm like, I'm good with a good 6.
My body doesn't want 8.
My job definitely doesn't help that because like I don't control how much sleep I get at that, but I can do things like we were talking about, like go to bed early, lay down, rest, get your feet above your head.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you can
mouth
do things.
tape.
Yeah,
have the freaking nasal openers.
The
now you're
strip.
breathing not only more oxygen, but it's through the nose. It's filtered. You're getting more. I'll just start throwing words out there, but you feel like you're getting more nitric oxide from breathing right. You're increasing your oxygen intake, and you're filtering it, and you're not having that snoring, which is doing the apnea, which is waking you up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's insane. Little things, dude. Knees underneath a pillow. Knees between the pillow. Like.
Yeah.
Like you said, going to bed when the sun goes down, trying to get into the chronological.
And like, I don't know any science behind this, but like
a
thing I've been thinking about. Oh, you're thinking of the circadian rhythm.
Circadian. You get into the circadian style.
But I've been thinking about this a lot lately, like just resting. Like even if you can't go to sleep right now. Like say my son's up, right, and I have to watch him. It's like I could watch him and sit there and scroll through my phone. Or I could get into a position where my feet are above my head, I'm laying on the floor with my back on like a yoga mat and just watching him and hanging out, but I'm resting.
Meditate,
just resting.
Also, not eating a couple hours before bed. Probably the biggest thing that all of us, everybody is guilty of. And then also not having like sugar even as your last meal before bed so that you don't wake up hungry in the morning. There's so many things that your body will just insanely recover more. Taking vitamin D. Taking K and D and A and having the right fish oils at night so that your brain can restore itself and recover.
How about the balance between drinking enough water throughout the day and then not drinking so much water that you wake up and pee all night and disrupt your sleep?
Huberman's claiming that from like 8 a.m. to noon, your body requires 80% of the water intake for the day. And then from like noon to 4, it's that last 20. And then you barely need any water after like 5 o'clock. The problem is we don't drink water all day, and then we're trying to catch up.
That's why I brought this.
That's why I'm gonna drink your water. Thank you for that. That's why I throw element packets around like it's nobody's business, so that I'm always a little bit brownie points ahead.
2 elements and a couple of creatine.
That Trekkie. And also creatine. I found out, I think Rogan or maybe Saladino, but they were claiming if you don't get enough sleep one night, which sometimes just happens, creatine is insanely good for your brain for repairing and getting the right things, because your brain needs to sleep more than anything. So a little bit of freaking creatine on those 5.5-hour nights will keep you on point. Craziest weave ever. But we've made it back to the Spartans, to the cold water. And then you messaged me, it's been 2 weeks since we saw each other. And what did you say?
I have not taken a warm shower since then.
No. And I thought about it, and I'm like, dude, I really only shower, like, I'm actually been pretty on it this year in winter because I have the Planet Fitness pass.
Yeah.
So like every other day at least, and I'm trying to get the cold benefits so much more than I'm trying to get clean that I just go cold, and you just get so much more benefits out of it that I don't have like multiple showers where I can do a warm and then end with a cold or something.
I just stopped like kind of wasting time in the shower.
If you think about it, get in the cold. The moment you think about it, you got to just get in. All right, we're doing, I forget what Jack coined it, but it's like the ask seat of anything. But you throw out big words and see if I know what they are.
Oh, man.
Or I throw out big words and you see if they're even a word.
Go ahead. You go first.
Informidable.
Informidable? Formidable would be like a formidable force, like something that's strong and powerful.
So this is just unwavering.
Informidable?
Yeah, can't
That's
be
worth
beaten.
a Google, but
Can't be beaten. Top boss.
no, because
Modded boss.
in wouldn't add that.
Yep.
I think it's just formidable.
All right, invigor.
Invigor would be
but,
the base word of invigorate.
well, I say the words that I don't know what they mean. So you telling me what they mean almost means nothing. I almost have to say it, and then you say, what do you think that is? Invigor would be some type of style. It's like a way that you present yourself. This dude's got a lot of invigor. It's almost like a texture.
Almost a texture, like an aura.
like an unforgettable style. It's just
like energy that comes
yeah,
off
you
of you.
feel
and
it.
vigor
Yeah.
Probably would be like a nice green hue.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that right?
Just beaming.
Is that right?
Is it right? Well, you just, am I telling you if it's right?
Yeah, is that what invigor means? I'm telling you that's what I think it means.
I don't think that's what it means.
Perfect. All right, give me a word, big word.
Okay,
I'll tell you exactly what it means.
I just have to make sure I know what it means.
Requiem. Requiem for a dream.
Yeah.
Requiem.
I just met a guy in Jersey, bro.
I don't think I actually know what that means either.
Requiem would mean like the pursuit thereof.
No,
pursuing.
I would think requiem is like an area that you are like sequestered to. What's sequestered mean?
Sequestered? That you're kind of it's like nooked up.
Yo,
You know what I mean? So you can use another word as the definition, whatever that might be, like a
you can
subjunctive.
you can translate it.
I think that's a subjunctive.
No way.
Never know. A vigilante, someone who's on the run from the law. Perfect.
These are great. Okay, I'm trying to think of some good ones for you.
You just don't think. That's the problem.
I know, that's what I mean.
Translucent, to be able to see through.
Yes.
Perfect. Transparent.
I'm drawing a complete
Same
blank.
thing.
Yeah, same thing, really.
So what's the difference?
Translucent or transparent?
Translucent, I think you can actually put your hands and stuff through. Transparent, you just can see through. You can't actually.
That would check out.
Like water would be translucent. Running water. I don't know if that's true, but God, it just sounds so right. You know what I mean? Don't make me keep hitting you because I got.
Keep hitting me because I'm drawing total blanks.
Rendezvous. That's an easy one. That's a daily activity.
Yeah.
Neanderthal.
What do you think Neanderthal means?
Like the first people, like
Yeah.
evolving.
It's like a species prior to humans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That humans evolved out of.
Yep. Flatulence.
That's a great one.
You're a regular rider.
Okay.
Approaching a rail, down bar, you're on the right side of it.
Correct.
You ollie to the left, and you put your turn 90 degrees, land with your left foot, your front foot, sideways and slide through the rail. What's it called?
Backside board slide or just board slide?
Okay, what if you do the same thing and when you pop, you land in the middle of your board?
Still board slide.
Okay, what if you land on your back foot?
Blunt.
Back blunt? Back to regs, okay. Same rider, regular, same rail, coming in right side of the rail, ollies up and over, shifts the board like a front board, you would say, whatever, over the rail, lands on the front foot.
Front lip.
You're on the right side of the rail, ollie.
Oh, right side of the rail, sorry. Right side of the rail, say it again.
Right side of the rail, ollie, rails on your left, turn your board to the right 90,
Oh, okay.
land on the front foot.
Backside lip.
What if you land on your back foot? Same thing.
Back tail. I kind of have to be on the tail for it to be back tail, but it's right around there. Like the back foot and back from that is a backside tail. I think it's hard to argue against that. Like if you watch somebody do a back tail on a skateboard on a ledge, that's exactly what it is.
So the first trick that I was talking about, you would never call it a back nose?
No, I really wouldn't.
Perfect.
Yeah, I really wouldn't, because like...
It's a backboard. Your board's on the rail. You're going through it.
Yeah.
You're not skateboarding. You're not really on your nose. If you're on your nose, you'd have to be off of it.
You would have to be...
Because when you're back blunt, you're actually not on that foot. You're like, just past it.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
You got to be actually blunted. What is blunt? What is blunted? What does that even come from? I think you might know that.
It comes from nose blunt and blunt slide and skateboarding, but like, sorry, these are just...
You got to be
delicious.
on, just casually eating
These
liver
are
and heart
so
right now.
good.
You got to be on the... You got to be past board slide to be considered blunt, I think.
You have to be past board slide, and like the more blunted you are would be like how much on the... Sorry, I'm talking about my mouth full. How much on the side of the rail are you? You know what I mean? Like if it's a round bar, how much on the side of it are you and still balanced because you're pressed into it? That's getting blunted.
Ewy.
You know what I'm saying?
Ew.
Same thing with front blunt, especially because dudes literally hop on where it's a round rail and they hop on completely sideways.
By the time you sit into it,
swivel onto the side and top right there, and now you're popping right out.
But then you like touch the zero balance point and then start working your way back out.
That's actually a trick I've always been really afraid to do. Is like a front blunt 2-sub. I should learn that, like, because I figured it out way better backside now.
Backside tricky.
How to come in on that heel edge and just stick right into your back foot.
Yes.
I got to be able to do the same thing front side.
Huge thing for all of that. All those tricks is keeping the board parallel with the rail. It's when you start turning it too early that you either clip your nose, you get all stoked up too early, or your angle starts going past the rail because your angle of your board is going past the rail.
It's the same thing we talked about at Killington with scrubbing your speed on jumps. How like if you come in with that big swoop, like you turn to your heel edge for a frontside 360 too early, you swoop and now your trajectory is all off.
Sending you to the left.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if you do the same thing coming into a lip for a rail, you come swooping in and try to catch over here, you're going all the way over the other side of the rail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's also a lot easier to just hold your board straight on an edge when you're coming into a rail.
Yeah, for sure.
Versus holding your board straight while winding up the opposite way. It's like you have to wait.
Yeah.
That's good. What were you touching on that people were super hyped on in a couple episodes ago about being aggressive when you're trying to learn park tricks and get better as a rider?
So this goes into, we were talking about this the last couple of days, like for me especially, it's easier to do that when it's soft and when it's warm like today. Like we were at Killington the other day and I was just freezing and like my body's all tensed up. I like compared it to surfing in board shorts versus surfing in a wetsuit. You know what I mean? So for me, on those type of days, I try to really take advantage of it, the soft days that are like a little more playful, and be like, I'm gonna, you know, not every day is about learning a trick, but just when you go up to do a trick, decide what you're gonna do before you do it, and then fully commit. Just like be intentional and aggressive and keep your weight moving forward. You know what I mean? Once you start to speed check or start to kind of doubt yourself,
lean over.
You lean in all kinds of weird ways and you're real stiff-legged. You know what I mean? If you bend your knees and go fast, you'll save yourself from so many things where you thought like you couldn't possibly land that.
Facts.
And you'll just skip over it and somehow catch the tranny and everything works out fine. But when you hesitate, no good.
No hesitate.
What was it?
Side piece to what you were talking about earlier about the Killington too, you were also just riding consciously, and that's why you're riding today. It's because you didn't push it too hard when it was icy 100%, and cold.
100%. Like you were hitting big jumps, and me and Daly were talking about catching air that day. I got out there, I felt the conditions. I was like, bro, I am not catching
I was hitting big jumps, but I never did even all of my stock go-to bag of tricks.
Yeah, and there's just levels to it. You know what I mean? You can do that on those days.
There's Truckee with 2 E's and 3.
All right, Daly, you were at Red Bull Heavy Metal in Boston this weekend. What are some takeaways?
The key takeaway is how much people are stoked on snowboarding. I didn't know that many people were hyping to go see a rail jam, and like just seeing the whole community. So the main takeaway was like how many people are stoked on snowboarding at a rail jam, how epic the community is, and how, you know what I mean?
Yep.
All the legends showing up and seeing all the connections, that was huge.
What's a way that they can improve it?
Oh, like a projector no one could see, so a projector so they could watch it, and maybe some stands.
I think there was 5 times larger of an output than they expected of a turnout.
100 times larger than they thought. They probably thought it was gonna be like 5,000, 10,000. There's 20,000 people.
So next year, projector and Literally, I don't think you could get any better. We're just gonna.
I don't think you can get better. It's the most stoked event of all time. There's stokers everywhere. The entire street's littered of it.
Yep.
And the boys were throwing down.
to be shredding public lands, you know what I mean? To be shredding
Public
like
land.
public territory, like a.
Wall riding the city hall. You gotta be
It's a
kidding me.
whole different vibe, dude.
These guys are grinding. Sparks coming off the city hall bricks.
Yeah, it's what snowboarding is, like to get kicked out of those spots and then work our way up within the whole sport industry and people, everything to build it to what it is now, to be able to get some love and go back and shred those same areas that we got kicked out of.
So
It's
unique.
crazy. And to truck in that much snow and even make it possible is just an insane amount of work. So shout out to every single person who had everything to do with
The
that.
truck
That was the
drivers,
most
there's so many-
choreographed, hard work situation that you could have to make that come to life.
Yeah, it makes you really want to get involved with like events and how stoking people and how to like bring stoke and hyping people up to a different scale, because that was just next level. They did it. They
Yeah,
set the
they
bar.
did it, yep.
They set the bar.
It's been done. That's the new bar.
Fun. Now we got to plan for next year and come in more hot, more stoked, more giveaways, more merch.
Imagine the NAR parked in that city area where everybody was. Just both windows open, selling
I could
Stoke
imagine
right
that.
out the front window.
A Stoke
not charging $1.
Gurty with his turntables, teacaps, selling yoga mats. We got Overstoked freaking gear. Everyone's hyping. We got tacos coming out the trunk. I got such
Heavy claims.
I got the vision, the dream.
Yep, that's the
We're
dream right
technically
there.
dreaming.
We're technically stoking.
Yep. All time.
One other Red Bull heavy metal thing I want to break down is that iconic photo that keeps kind of popping up all over the place, and that was actually shot by the homie Eli Campin, and he had a whole backstory about how his homie Jackson, his mom Diane, worked at some office building way above the floors, because you can't actually fly a drone, so it's not even a drone shot, it's from a camera, and they got like security clearance days before by trying to research where the event was going to be. Once they found out, put a bunch of work in to get up to the position to scope out the photo, potential photo, and during the second heat or the second wave of features, they went up there because they did the clearance early. They were allowed easy access, and I guess they were like up there with their whole family and stuff while they were watching him, and he shot that super iconic photo. So shout out to Eli. That thing can be found at the Terrarium Instagram, and yeah, it's just insane that you can actually have a photo like literally encompassing how epic that crowd was of like 20,000 plus people. A bunch of different claims, but the largest snowboarding crowd for a show in Boston history, or maybe snowboarding history, I don't even know. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen for sure.